Hello people, today I have with us the Raider of Shadow RS number 2, Chou Niu. I think that's how it's pronounced, and this is by MS General. The Raider of Shadow group has a little write-up here. It's an official position set up by Shosho. It is said that the members are commensurate with the name of the Earth branch Zodiac. However, the relevant information is hardly recorded, and the purpose is also ambiguous. No one knows where it is and what action it takes, therefore it is also named Shadow. Alright, with all that said, let's go ahead and show you guys some of the articulation of this thing. So Chou Niu, I believe it is, Chouniu, is a 110 scale figure and 110 scale action model kit, and that will show when I show you a size comparison that she is going to be bigger than some of the other girl kits that you might see. She is frankly taller and more substantial than the other kits as well. She's heavier and wider, just bigger all around. Now this is her unarmed form. She is a blacksmith in her unarmed form. And she does have quite the look with those baggy pants, which is really nice, and this apron that's a very cool, or even a smock, if you want to call it that, that she uses during her work. The huge anvil that she has is also transformable into a weapon, as you will see later on. It does include a little flag here and a handle, which is very foretelling on what it's going to be used for. Very funny. And she does include a couple other weapons as well, which are this here big gun. Very nice looking gun as well. And this hammer, which she presumably uses to work on her stuff while she's in blacksmith mode. So let's go ahead and go over the articulation. We're going to start at the top here, at the head. Her ponytail is articulated up and down and all the way around on a wrist type connection, just like you normally see on these girl kit wrists. Her neck has a ball joint right over here, so she can turn all the way around just like so. And that is ball jointed into the bottom as well, so you can do that. Get some interesting angles, that inquisitive angle there, or to lean forward, to look down, however you would like to pose her. The arms, slightly different than what you've normally seen. These are a peg, not a ball joint, that goes into the body here. Nice and snug, actually, compared to some of the other kits. In a way, it's a little bit worrisome if you have to twist it. I kind of feel like it might be too tight. And then obviously that can go up, down, and all the way around, but it isn't a ball joint, so you don't get an additional layer of bend at that joint there. You do get a rotation here at that midpoint. You get a dual points of articulation in this arm, but it doesn't add up to much because this glove is quite substantial and does block off most of that articulation there. At the wrist, of course, we have that regular 2 pins connected to each other in a sort of ball, so you have that standard Mecha Musume joint there. Beneath her smock, she is jointed up here under her chest. Let me see about taking that off real quick. Get her neck out there. And she is clothed underneath the smock, so no need to worry about that. Your articulation point inside here is at a ball joint captured at the top. So the ball joint is inside the bottom, plugs into the top. And then at the bottom, it comes straight into that T-bar that you normally see with these mecha girls. And that goes to her thigh, which is a very large piece here. Very long, but very, very nicely articulated and formed. I will not complain about the lack of twist here, because the pants do actually look really nice, and you do have some means to rotate that inside there on the ball joint that's captured inside the thigh. At the knee, there are 2 joints there, but again, it doesn't add up to much. You can crease them about this far. It isn't nearly flat like some of the frame arms and Megami device can do, but more similar to what they can do with 30-minute missions or sisters. That said, the look on the front of this thing is pretty nice, even with the bend in place. At the bottom here, you have, if I recall correctly, this one is a ball joint that goes into the foot. So you get some rotation here. It is a little bit looser than some of the other connections on there, but that is okay because with the weight of the rest of the thing, the model kit there, it actually lets you pivot that on the feet and kind of gives you a little freedom to how you want to pose her. It's pretty cool if you ask me. And there she is without her smock on. Let's see, get that going right there, and then press her down, and then her feet take care of the rest. So that is her unarmored form. Went ahead and took her smock off. There is a small connection here, which goes to the back of her to show that she has this tied on. It's quite a nice touch, I think. This is a rubberized piece here, so it does have some flexibility if you want to bend it. It is capable of doing so. If you want to heat it up and bend it, it can stay in that form. It is a very nicely done piece, and I think that little ribbon in the back is a nice touch. Go ahead and leave that off of her right now. But this is her in work mode. She is going to be using that hammer and that anvil, that massive anvil, to be making whatever fine accoutrements she needs to make to whatever armor or weapons that she makes. Some of the other cool things that this thing came with are the face mask here, and the ability, of course, to use that hammer, but a little pipe that she likes to smoke. I would prefer to say that this is a smelting cup. Maybe she's pouring in gold for some really finely tuned accessorizing, you know, get that really nice inlaid gold for some of the other characters in the MS General line. They are fond of gold, I think. Maybe that's how she's getting these nice metallic parts on there to get those going, which they are stickers. I will advise that they are stickers. This kit does have many stickers on it. So if you do prefer, she can be a smoker, but I don't like that idea personally. That's just me. I am not a fan of smoking. To those who are, that's fine too, but just wanted to point that out for you. Let's go ahead and go over her armored form, and then I will show you the weapon that her armored form uses. All right, here she is again, and now armored up. Let's go ahead and show what kind of articulation you lose or gain with this new form. Now, this one is a two-bodied kit, which means that you do get both girls in the same kit. It's the same girl, but you get two bodies, so you can just hold up the other one and show that you still have the unarmored form. I didn't buy two of these. It comes with two of them, and you don't have to swap any parts between each mode, with the exception of maybe hands, face plates, and weapons. So if you want to trade those off, you're more than welcome to do so. But let's go ahead and show off what this can do. The head does not lose any articulation. It is essentially the same head. You just build this hat on top of it. There is a little bit of a difference there because you now have a neck guard at the back. But essentially it's the same deal. You have a ball joint at the top. There is no longer a ball joint at the bottom though. So you do lose that, I guess. There's one thing that you have no longer. But the hair and the head itself are essentially the same and are swappable if you want to do that. Moving down to the arm, you have essentially the same arm here. So you move that up and down here, and there is no problem with turning that 360 degrees around and up and down quite a lot. So if you wanted to go up from there, you can. You wanted to go down, it's quite a lot there. You saw here that this ring connects her upper arm to her lower, and there is again that rotation here in the midsection. There is again 2 points of articulation in the arm, the elbow, so you can move that quite a lot. Not so much as some of the other kits, like I had mentioned before, but a pretty substantial amount, you know, for that heavily armored look. So let's put that back on. You don't gain anything here in the middle here, but you do have the same articulation at the wrist. Again, 2 pins connected together in that ball joint wrist joint style. The waist is essentially the same again. You get that same ball joint that goes up into the top chest, and she can move around at that point. Nothing here at the lower section except for this. So you get this rotating little, I forget what that one is called, but you get some symbols in the front. There are more symbols in the back. I don't know if she made that or if that's just for fun, but she does have at the back some movable sections here. These can articulate a bit, so they appear to be thrusters. It's not clear to me what they are exactly, but they can move around quite a lot. Maybe it's an antenna, maybe it's a speed spoiler, a neck guard, things like that. Interesting looking configuration though. Here at the very back here, the lower back, you have a rotation at the back peg going into her back. These sections can turn up this way, and then they are ball jointed onto that section there. So these tails can move around like they are fluttering in the wind, or they can be relaxed down here to cover the back of her legs. The thighs are differently jointed on this set than they are in the other, in terms of that instead of a ball joint inside, you just have a rotating barrel section inside here. So you don't get a twist at the thigh here, but you do gain that one slightly between the armor and leg section. So you can lift it up this way, and you can rotate it this way, as well as the rotation here at the thigh. And then at the knee, there are 2 massive joints inside here. So if you want to move that out of the way, you can lift that up here. That is 1 joint, and then 2 lets you have just a bit more. Let's see. There you go, just like that. That is the maximum extension of that articulation. Nothing to sniff at. There are more points here. You have a rotation here at this on a ball joint, and this one as well has a little bit of articulation. There is a peg that goes into the foot here, just like the wrist connection, like above at the hands. And so you can move that up and down, and you can rotate it either at the ankle or at the foot to have what you need done. These fins also rotate. I'm not sure why you would want to. They aren't exactly aligned to anything, so you kind of just put them at a point wherever you'd like them to be to show that she has a nice cool foot armor there. This is just for flash, I think. That said, I'm surprised that these don't have something like a hoof for their feet. It is an ox or a cow, so I'm not sure why they didn't do that, but that's not a bad thing. It is what it is here. And I wanted to show you before we moved on that it does come with 4 face plates in all. This one is the somewhat angry face. Includes the normal face that the other version had. We have a slightly happier normal face, and I think this is the same as the default. Maybe this one's not smiling. Is that one smiling? Let's double check. I think it's the same as this face here. Actually, let's see if we can focus. There we go. Yeah, same face, so you can put it on both versions of the body. And then it does include 2 more if you wanted to make customs and decals that we'll show you in just a second here. 2 plain face plates just like this. The decal sheet has a couple of different options for faces, as you can see here. There's a sad one, there's a shifty looking one, angry, a couple of different marks here so that you can get the expressions you'd like. And then there are various ones everywhere else. Let's see if we can turn this light off to show that off. Maybe not so much. They are white and they go all over her armor and on the hammer, which is about to be presented. So combining the top of your anvil here with that flagpole that was attached, now you have the massive hammer, which is jointed at the front there. If you could see, those 2 sections rotate out, and you can see that she is overwhelmingly powerful with this here weapon. It is incredibly heavy. It is leaning on that fence right now, and she is hardly capable of carrying it. I'm surprised that they didn't include a stand for her or it in this set, but that isn't a bad thing. I really like the way it looks. It's so big, so beefy, that it's a perfect explanation for her blacksmithing capabilities and just her oxish or bullish feel. You know, she's a overwhelmingly powerful type character. I wish we knew more about her. It's definitely a fun one to think about. I'm going to go ahead and take that off, though, so that I can show you her cannon and what that looks like attached to her. Let's put that right out here and slide this out there. There we go. Very heavy weapon there. It's as heavy as she is, so that's something to behold, honestly. Her cannon kind of slides in her hand just like so, and then this section here clips onto the back of her arm. So she is capable of holding that without a second thought, and it is a really cool look for her character. Now, I would probably use the smaller hammer as a weapon for her, just because it seems like a more wieldable, weapon for everyday use. But whatever her secret mission is, if she does require it, it doesn't look like I can fit it in that hand. I'll have to use the open one. This weapon is her weapon of choice. And like I said, there is that hinging right here. That is how you get the top of this into your anvil. This just take that off and slides this right in here. And that is how you combine the two. Nice and easy, simple as. Very cool, very nice idea on how to store the weapon, especially because it does have that peg. You can just slide this back on here, and it is back to normal. She is presumably ready to work again. I really do enjoy the look of this cannon. I kind of wish it was more substantial, but at the same time, it does have a really neat and compact look. Maybe you can think of it as an impact driver because you want to go with the hammer type scenario there. Maybe that is like one of those pile drivers. There's a big steel shaft inside there, and she fires it off and hits something real hard. Let's go ahead and get to the height comparisons between some of the kits that I currently own and these two girls. So let me move this thing out of the way. We'll be right back to it. Starting with our high-grade Gundam, you can tell this girl really dwarfs this guy. He is very small, and he's looking very shy between the two of them. Here is Alto also looking diminutive between the two of these very large and imposing females. Even my 1/100th scale Jinrai is still shorter than these two. Very, very big girls, aren't they? Here is Architect, who is presumably a 1/10th scale model kit. She is technically speaking non-scale, so whatever scale you would like her to be, that is what you can call her. But she is, in my book, closest to 1/10 scale. These girls are just abnormally tall, and that is pretty cool. If you have a 30-minute sister, She is very similar to the height of this Megami device magical girl here. And you can see a 1/12 scale figure roughly beside these two girls and what they would look like between them. My 1/24 scale Nero does not even come up to their hips. He's quite a small little lad compared to these imposing women. Finally, a height-size comparison that is justified and worthy of the name of the king of my collection in terms of height and scale. The Alex Gundam in Master Grade is finally taller than these two gals are. He is also quite a lot more substantial and a little bit more heavier than the armored form. It is quite a fun look to see these two gals standing beside him. They look like they could give him a run for his money. Alright, with that said, I'm glad that you guys stuck with me throughout this whole thing, if you did indeed. I appreciate you spending your time here with me, checking out these amazing model kits from a company that has been pumping out incredible works. Like this one, a new series, The 7 Deadly Sins. Their MS General, which continues to be providing me hours of entertainment with the Ma Chao, and there's a few more of them coming up, so we're going to be seeing those soon, hopefully, and I will definitely be keeping you guys in the loop of what comes out and when I get it. I definitely want to show you guys what keeps coming up new and what keeps coming up cool. MS General is at the top of my list in terms of companies that are making really awesome things, as well as Suyata and ATK. These three companies are really popping up and really stepping up the game and making Kotobukiya and Bandai really have to push and keep things all the way up at the top to stay where they are in terms of model kits. I haven't experienced Gundam on Wii yet. I do often mix my stuff up, so I don't really get bored of them. I have never had that experience since I started in 2016, but I have heard people saying, oh, I don't want to build Gundam anymore. It's so boring. And my cure for that is that I consistently move outside of the box. I look outwards, because I didn't start with Gundam. I first started with tanks and model airplanes and kits such as that. So when I got to Gundam, I thought, hey, you know what, these things are really cool. And I never really stopped looking at model airplanes, model cars, anything that comes out. That's why I buy my Suyata kits. That's why I buy the frame arms and frame arms girls. I buy anything that comes up, because if you do just one thing, it does get dry. So I say that to say this. Don't be afraid of something that you might not have your eyes on particular. This is something new and something that might be untried by you personally. If you're into Gundam, don't be afraid of something like this. It's put together the same way your Gundam goes together. There isn't any glue that I had to put this thing together with. I will let you know if that happens. There are some things that you do have to glue, but not to this kit in particular. This went together almost exactly like the Gundam. If you've built a master grade or real grade, it's the same deal. Slightly more complicated than a high grade. But it's not something out of the ordinary that you've already experienced. If you've only built model cars, for example, this is a breeze compared to that. This is super simple, super easy. You're going to love it. If the idea of building a model kit girl is out of your particular scene, that's fine too. You can't build one of these, that's cool. I don't mind sharing my experience with you so that you can have a look at what that looks like. I have lots of these model kit girls now, and it's a little bit overwhelming if I'm honest. But I have shown you before my collection. I have quite a lot on the shelf still to build, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. But I will see you guys next time, or you'll see me. More than likely, though, you will see my stuff. Have a good day. Bye-bye.